Everyone, and welcome back to another Cupid Parasite in Allan's route. Okay, it's not gonna talk. Okay, good. Okay, so I know it's been a really long time since I posted anything, and I do apologize for that. The thing is, well, first of all, it was Labor Day weekend, which already added so much on top of my stress level. To just be completely honest, like I was facing a really major burnout as far as Otome games go. I was needing to take a break and play something a little more engaging, and that's what I've been doing. And so my husband and I and my brothers bought something on Steam that we were all playing together. And so that's helped quite a bit because it's been a lot of fun. But sorry there hasn't been a post, there hasn't been a video upload or anything. There's still the issue of my husband being in this room with me, so I can't bring myself to like mornings. I've tried getting up early and trying to stay up, and it just feels exhausting and draining no matter how much sleep I get. So I think is what I want to have to do going forward is once my husband goes to bed, it's going to be my recording time, and that's at 10 p.m. So the videos are probably going to stay around an hour, so that way I can, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, so I can get them edited and get it out not too late. Today I'm starting at midnight because my brothers and I were playing still, but they go to bed at midnight. Like, even if I tried to go to bed right now, I would stay awake in bed for an hour before I can even fall asleep. So this is the time where I need to do stuff, is at night, which I did do in the past, but it was mostly editing and getting it out. Like, I already had it recorded, but now I have to record and edit, so they'll just get released as soon as they come out. It won't be a midnight release anymore because I can't guarantee that. So it's just whenever they get done, they'll get posted. And I apologize, I made you guys wait so long for Allan Melville. Let's see, what are we on? We're on his first chapter, right? Okay, no choices in here. Just looking at these sections, I cannot wait. So let's get started then. 21 years ago in the underworld.
これじゃない。これでもない。これだ。そうか。こうすればいいのか。
He's talking so quietly.
ようやくキューピッドの矢を奪える。
Oh, really? I am intrigued. He wants to take away Cupid's bow. Why does he want to do that? Well, it's back to business as usual. After the finale of the Parasite house, each of the Parasite 5 had cancelled their membership, so I was looking over their profile sheets one last time. I wonder what happened to Allan. I hadn't heard from him at all. He cancelled his membership without a consultation or even letting me know directly. I also had a text message from him. I wonder if he wrote down a reason for why he decided to leave. On the cancellation forum, there's a box for them to fill out their reason if they want. I pulled up the form to take a look, and I could hardly believe what I saw. Termination due to violation of contract terms and conditions. What the heck? Terminated due to violation of... What the heck? Does that mean he actually... Based on his past behavior, I had to imagine he must have been something pretty bad. But there weren't any further details, so I decided to talk to the co-workers who had handled his termination process. That's funny. You violated my conditions. Excuse me. I was hoping you could tell me what happened with this. Oh, okay. I think he was terminated by the company because he violated. That would make sense. I mean, you know what he does. I handed her a printout of the form and her face immediately turned sour.
ああ、アラン・メルビル。もう大変だったわよ。あいつ、うちの担当会員に手を出してね。
For an advisor to refer to a member with that kind of language, whatever he did, it must have been pretty bad. According to her, this is what happened. He'd set up a number of couples who were just about to enter into a serious relationships. One after another, they all broke up. And for that reason was Allan Melville. He went from woman to woman, asking them each out on a date, and one by one they agreed. But once you start a formal relationship, you can't date other members. It's company policy. I guess they saw it as one final test. But in any case, the woman said she'd fallen in love with him and called off their previous connections. But for his part, Allan refused to go out with any of the women again.
全員失恋して終わり。本校祭を邪魔されるわ。女性会員様は退会するわで大変だったの。
What? They all canceled their memberships?
そう。なんでもみんながみんないい夢を見られて、それが忘れられないなんて言い出してね。
Or if that's his incubus plane.
そういえば、なんだか変なことも言っていたわ。現実の男よりも夢の方がいいとかなんとか。
What does he do when he makes them fall asleep? A real man.
今考えてみると、アラン・メルビルと結婚したいわけじゃなかったのかしら。よくわからないわ。何にせよ、あいつとデートした女性会員全員よ。だから上司に掛け合って彼を退会処分にしたってわけ。
I see. After the giant headache he'd caused everyone, all I could do was sigh. I think I understand now. Thank you for dealing with all that trouble.
アドバイザーとして当然よ。まったくサークルクラッシャーってやつよねこれ。百害あって一理なし。にしてもパラサイトハウスの前はこんな大々的な問題にはならなかったのに、どうしていきなり略奪しまくったのかしら。
Maybe he was trying to get Cupid's attention.
どっちにしろもう大会になった人のことよ。変な責任感を持たずにあなたも早く忘れた方がいいわ。
Yeah. I sighed again and returned to my desk. Of course, waiting there to welcome me back was the same profile sheet of Allan's. Dang it, I can't believe how many women he screwed over, and right before they wound up in serious relationships. He was basically a Cupid's worst nightmare. I wonder how many happy couples there'd be right now if it weren't for him. I recalled that smug look on his face when he'd call someone our darling and felt anger rising up in me again. I need to talk to him about this. I don't want to ever have to deal with something like that again. He might not be a member of Cupid Corp anymore, but I still wanted him to reconsider his perspective on dating. My coworkers always told me not to feel so responsible, but all I could see was a future without marriage thanks to him. I really hope he can find a way to meet up again somehow. Why does he have to steal from other men? Now that he wasn't a client, I could ask him everything that was off limits before. I won't have to hold anything back. Just then the phone began to chime. The special typing of ring told me it was an outside call. Who could that be? Hello, this is Miss Mirror.
お疲れ様です。パラサイトハウスの管理人です。今よろしいですか？
Why would the manager personally call her? Frankly, this was a complete surprise. Oh, yes, of course. How can I help you? Is there a problem or... For a second, I was worried that he might have damaged something during our stay, but his tone was quite relaxed.
実は枕の忘れ物があったんです。社長にご連絡したらこちらに連絡するようにと言われまして。
I know who that's a pillow. It had to be one of Allan's. I see. If you don't mind, can I come by later and pick it up? Then I can return it to the owner myself.
ありがとうございます。ではお待ちしております。
We agreed on a time and place to stop by, and I hung up the phone. I'd just been hoping for an excuse to talk to Allan again, so this was perfect timing. As a bridal advisor and as the literal god of love, I simply couldn't tolerate the stealing of partners. I made up my mind to confront Allan and began preparing a list of talking points. A few days later, after work I headed with the subway to take me to Allan's store on 9th Avenue. It turned out that I was right. The forgotten pill did belong to Allan. That's what was in the paper bag I was currently clutching. While I was walking to the subway, I took a look at my phone. What's this? An article had started trending, Urban Legends of Lost York. I started reading it. One of the legends they mentioned was that a woman in the city had started having strange erotic dreams. It said that women had started breaking up with their partners because their dreams were too good. What a strange urban legend. I can't see why people would start breaking up just because of some weird dreams. I was puzzled, but I just moved on to my daily routine of checking out the Cupid hashtag. The hashtag Cupid hashtag. After a while, I arrived at Allan's store, Pillow Luxuria. I hadn't been here since our practice date. I probably should have told him I was coming, but I didn't want him to weasel out of this. You're probably going to catch him doing something strange. I was hoping to catch him during the store's business hours. Okay, here I go. I slowly opened the door and nervously peeked into the store. If it's not during business hours, wouldn't he lock it up? I spotted Allan helping out a customer.
では、高さを確認いたしますので、体から力を抜いて、天井をまっすぐに見てください。
こう？
ええ、眉に包まれているイメージをして、息を徐々に細く、長くしてみましょうか。心地いい浮遊感を得られると思いますよ。
The woman was lying on one of the beds in the store. She must have been there for a pillow fitting.
そして、そのまま目をつむってください。いい夢が見られますから。
夢。そうね。なんだか眠くなって。
Allan snapped his fingers and she went perfectly still, as if all of her energy had been sapped away. She was fast asleep. What the? Was that some kind of hypnosis? Just as I was getting ready to lean in for a closer look, the strangest thing happened. I knew it. He's gonna transform. Allan's eyes became two tiny fires and a long tail flicked into existence. Wind whipped around him, rattling the windows. He's got like an ethereal looking form. What on earth? My hand went to my mouth at the sight of what was clearly something other than human. Is Allan some kind of god? The way his eyes lit up, reminding me how my dad looked when he reached for his axe in anger. And even if I did something similar when I used my Cupid's bow, I would sprout feathers and start to glow. What was happening to Allan is exactly what would happen if a god were using their powers. Suddenly, Allan leaned directly over the woman. Huh? And then he thrust his hand into her body. Well, to be more precise, he thrust his hand into some kind of fog that had begun to gather around her. And in the next moment, his entire body disappeared into that same fog. What the? Yeah, he goes into their dreams. Interesting. I just stood there completely dumbfounded. I had absolutely no idea what was going on. I don't know how much time had passed, but eventually he re-emerged from the fog. He slowly licked his lips and snapped his fingers again. With that, his tail disappeared and the fog hanging over the woman began to dissipate. The next moment, the apparent customer stirred and gave a big, long stretch. She then slowly raised herself up.
よく覚えてないけれど、なんだかいい夢が見られたわ。ストレスも全部吹き飛んだみたい。こんなに元気になれるなんて本当にいい枕なのね。この枕買っていくわ。
お買い上げありがとうございます。
The woman happily paid for her pillow and left the store. Once she was gone, I made my way into the store. Allan, what the hell was that? When he saw me, Allan's eyes went wide for the briefest moments, but he quickly caught himself and returned to normal.
ああ、久しぶりだね、アワーハニー。機嫌はどうかな？美しいお嬢さん。ちょうど可憐な君にぴったりな枕があるんだ。よかったら今。
Don't try and change the subject. Seriously, what the hell did I just witness?
何って。普通にお仕事してただけだよ。
You're still trying to play dumb? You're not talking your way out of this one. I saw everything. I saw you go inside that woman. He just sighs. His face changed again. His eyes showed something, not quite alarm, not quite melancholy, but something in between. He quickly recomposed himself again. Then he just smiled and shrugged his shoulders.
あれ？おかしいな。誰にも見られないように結界貼ってあったはずなんだけど。
Apparently doesn't work on gods. He looked at me with the most bewitching smile.
バレちゃったなら仕方ない。君が見たままだよ。俺は悪魔。
A god? You're a god, aren't you?
は？
He started to say monster, I think. Oh no, he started to say demon in Japanese. It was either demon or it's monster. I always get them confused sometimes when they say them together. But since he's the incubus, he's probably gonna say demon. Lost in the excitement of meeting my first god in the human realm, I rushed up to Allan. And he's gonna go right along with it too, I just know he is. Maybe other gods had decided to check out the world of man, or maybe some had he had horns and a tail. Like, you know your Olympian gods, right? I mean, that just screams a demon. Anyway. Maybe the other gods had decided to check out the world of man, or maybe some had been given some specific orders. Whatever the case may be, this was the first time seeing another god down here. Truth is, I'm a god too. Can you tell? So what's your real name? Your divine name, I mean. Oh my goodness, you just blabbed everything. I had the same excited energy I got when I talked to Clara sometimes, but I was so happy I just couldn't hold back.
いや、
I'm actually Cupid. I'm not part of the Diconstantins, of course. You probably haven't heard of me. Oh my goodness. He just told him his target. Come on, you're from Celestia, right? What god are you? I just stared at him, hoping he wasn't like the god of robbery or something. After a moment, Allan burst out laughing.
俺が神？何を言い出すと思えば。本当に君ってとぼけてるね。
Huh? But you are a god, aren't you? No mere mortal can do something like that.
君は摩訶不思議な力を使う存在は全て神だって思ってるわけだ。
Well, at least he's not going to go along with it. But isn't that right? I mean, of course I've read about these things like psychics and stuff, but I've never met one personally. I just thought maybe you were a god that was taking a little trip down here from Celestia or something. I mean, that's what I'm doing. If my aunt or mom were down here with us, they'd probably describe me as some kind of psychic.
つまり、箱入り育ちのキューピッドは悪魔という存在を知らないってわけか。
Excellent. He's going to come right out and say he's a demon. Somehow it sounded like he was mocking himself more than me. He looked at me with anger in his eyes. Demon?
人間を堕落させる存在。神とは違う悪しきもの。
Allan took my hand and put his arm around my waist. It was as if we were about to start dancing.
俺はインキュバス。君たち神とは似ても似つかない。正反対の存在だよ。
Sound like he said criminal in Japanese. Incubus? A demon? I'd heard of the word demon before, mostly in the movies I'd seen. Sometimes it was even part of the title. But I didn't really know what it actually meant. To be honest, it never occurred to me to look into it.
やっぱりそうなんだ。本当に神たちは自分勝手だね。 俺たちの存在を知ろうともしてない。悪魔っていうのはね、人間を糧に生きる悪い存在なんだ。神が来やすく近づいてはならないんだよ。
In one smooth motion, he turned me in his arms and pushed me onto the bed. Again, like a bit of choreographed dance.
インキュバスっていうのはね、人間の夢を食って生きる悪魔なんだ。
That's super creepy. I wish I could see his horns, but I see his tail. Dreams? Allan glared at me with his glowing eyes.
そう。だから俺にとって人間なんてただの食い物の提供者だ。恋をしている女の夢が一番のごちそう。だから略奪をするのさ。
Well, there you go.
神みたいに与える存在じゃない。奪って苦しめるもの。神や聖職者に裁かれるもの。なあ、神の夢ってどんな味がするんだろうな。
Allan? It was clear I'd said something to make Allan angry, but I couldn't imagine what it might have been. I didn't know anything about demons, and I didn't have the slightest clue what he was talking about at that moment. He takes instead of gives. Is that meant to explain why he steals women? What does that mean, he feasts on dreams? Apparently he noticed that my head was swirling with questions. He tapped me lightly on the chest. I noticed his fingernails were longer than before.
この状況でも逃げ出さないんだね。随分と俺たちは舐められているみたいだ。とても不服だよ。箱入りキューピッドには経験してもらった方が分かりやすいかな。ほら、見せてやるよ。
He's got pointy ears now too.
インキュバスの力をさ。
Suddenly, wind began whipping around the two of us. The windows began to shake and shudder again. Allan's eyes were ferocious.
あんたが分からないなら分からせるまでだ。悪魔の恐ろしさをな。
His burning eyes seemed to stare into me. At first I thought they were filled with anger, but why did I feel like he was about to cry? I tried forming the question, but my lips wouldn't move. And the world started to fade as if I'd been drugged. Oh no. Cliffhanger? Okay. Oh, she's gonna have a...
こっちへおいで。
She's having a dream. A voice sweeter than honey called out to me. A warm hand caressed my bare skin. Before I realized it, my clothes had disappeared. Where am I? Who are you? I wanted to say so much, but my body was so light, so elusive, I was completely helpless. Little by little, he touched me, exploring my body.
へえ。君って夢の中では意外に大胆なんだね。
What was I feeling? Did it tickle? I didn't recognize the sensation at all. I felt like I was losing my mind.
気持ちいい。それでいいんだ。
Did it feel good? Or did it just tickle? I had no idea. I was wrapped in a warm dream, a cocoon waiting to hatch. A voice escaped my lips.
俺に身を委ねて。もっと足の力を抜いて。
I was eager to do as he said. Eventually, I accepted him.
いい子だ。動くよ。
I felt full and I cried out. What is this? Is this what happens between lovers? But it wasn't anything like I'd seen in the movies. It felt more mysterious, more magical. Is this a dream? I was so happy, my heart felt full, and I felt like I was lost in a memory. Who are you? I reached out in desperation and clung to him. Stuck in a dream unlike any I've ever experienced. For the first time in my life, I felt completely satisfied, down to the very depths of my soul. Such a strange dream. They do that in every person's dream. Once I finished feasting, I made my way out of her dream and let out a deep sigh.
なんだこの夢。すごく美味しかった。
Is this what's going to make him fall in love with her? Was it because she was a god? It was unlike any dream I've ever devoured before.
君はどんな夢を見てる？どんな男と寝たんだ？
Oh, he doesn't even see her dream? Put my hand on her sleeping cheek and muttered quietly to myself. An incubus comes to his target in their dreams, taking the form of her ideal man. But in that moment, I have no way of knowing who I am or what I look like. Oh, really? I wonder who it was then. I just instinctively know what they want me to say. I whisper sweet words to them and embrace them according to their true desires. That's how an incubus like me feeds. The more pleasure I can provide, the better my feast will be. But binding her in a dream and coming to her as a stranger brings with it a tremendous sense of guilt. I can't believe a demon ate a god's dream. I can't believe such an unworthy being as me would dare embrace her. Even in a dream, it shouldn't be allowed.
でも、本当にインキュバスがキューピッドの夢なんて食って平気だったのか？
I guess we'll find out. Wonder if it might give me a stomachache later and if she would be okay.
何考えているんだ俺は。腹を壊すって人間じゃないんだから。長くこっちにいると感覚が混ざるな。ん？
She slept so peacefully, she must be having an exceptionally nice dream.
まったく、いい寝顔だな。この無警戒さは、パラサイトハウスから全く変わらずか。
I laughed, but there was no genuine humor in it. Confronted by a man or demon, she had absolutely no sense of self-preservation. She wasn't truly conscious of being a god, really, or of being a woman. But a troublesome Cupid.
だから、守りたくなる。本当なら俺なんかが近寄るべきじゃないって、わかってるのに。
At least now she would understand. She'd see just how much of a danger I was to her. She's not gonna care. It's gonna baffle him. She had Gil and Shelby, so many men who might be worthy of her. All I had to do was work behind the scenes to make her aware of them, just like I'd been doing this entire time.
にしても起きないな。
He's trying to get her with someone else to protect her from him, I guess. I don't know. Normally, my target would start waking up as soon as I left their dream, but there was no sign of waking this time.
店も閉めたいし。仕方ない。部屋に連れて行くか。
Sounds like a wonderful idea. Not really. I locked the door, then took her in my arms. She's gonna get the wrong idea. I carried her upstairs to my bed. Well, we're not stopping there, that's for sure. Incubus's job. I woke up feeling surprisingly refreshed. I couldn't remember the last time I slept so well, but it was more than that. That was the first dream I've ever had. In Celestia, we actually didn't have to sleep, and even in the human realm, I never dreamed when I slept. So for the first time in my life, I had a dream. I sat up and stretched. It took me a second to realize I didn't recognize the room I was in. Oh, where am I?
おはよう。ようやく起きたか。
He slept all night. As he spoke, Allan seemed to materialize from out of nowhere. Seeing him brought back the memory of what happened last night. That's right, Allan is the reason I had that dream. A demon that devours dreams, a dream brought to me by an incubus.
どう？インキュバスの力、わかった？
She's gonna be like, it's amazing. Yes, it was amazing.
は？
I knew it because she's never dreamt before. Dreams are truly wonderful, aren't they? Thank you so much for showing me. Funny. Says, I'm a goddess. I've never actually dreamed before. It's shocking just how incredible it felt.
インキュバスの見せる夢と一般的な夢は違うんだけど。
Really?
というか、俺としては危機感を持ってもらいたかったんだけど。
He doesn't care. He sighed sadly. Suddenly, Allan pushed me back down to the bed.
ところで、君の夢に出てきたのはどんな男だった？
I'm curious too. Huh?
ギル、シェルビー、それともラウレやケイサイン君？それ以外の男？
Just gonna be like it was you. No, none of them. Actually, it was someone I've never seen before. Well, that's
初
disappointing.
めて見た人。変だな。今まであった誰かしらになるはずなんだけど。
Maybe it's him in like his true form or something, and she doesn't know what that looks like. He had kind of a gentle vibe. His hair was blonde, and he had wings, I think. Uh-oh. Allan started to tremble. His gaze turned cold. A sense of anger flickered in his eyes, and his smile was tinged with misery.
へえ。そうなんだ。
He knows exactly who it is. Huh. Uh-oh. I felt his hand move, and suddenly he was covering my eyes. He forced my hands onto my head, then pinned them there with a single arm.
それは悪い夢だね。修正してあげないと。
What does that mean? What? I felt something wet and hot crawling up and down my neck. It had to be Allan's tongue. What are you?
これはギルの舌だ。いいね。君はギルを思い浮かべるんだ。
That gives me huge creepy vibes. You don't do something to someone like imagine someone else doing this to you. What? I wanted to say more, but I was struck speechless when I heard Gil's voice.
ねえ、俺のことどう思ってる？俺はさ、君がずっと好きだったんだよ。ルームシェアしてた時からずっと。
Oh my goodness. I think he's doing this because that is his form. But we'll have to see, I guess. That's seriously Gil's voice. There's no mistaking it. I was alone here with Allan, and yet... Still, with his hand covering my eyes, I could almost imagine being there instead.
俺を見てよ。君にもラブクラフトって名前になってもらいたい。ね。俺のお嫁さんになってくれる？
While whispering sweetly of love, he slowly runs his tongue down my neck and over my shoulders. Before I knew it, the hand I thought was holding my wrist was suddenly touching my thigh. The movement of his fingers was driving me over the edge. Wait. I tried to shake him off, but he refused to let me go.
またない。好きだよ。大学の頃からずっと。俺だけの人になってほしいんだ。君を一生守りたいんだよ。
You might have Gil's voice, but Gil wouldn't have acted anything like this. Well, he does after you say that you like him back. His hand slowly continued its journey upward. No, that's enough. This isn't a dream and you aren't Gil. I kicked my feet as hard as I could. Oh my goodness. Finally, I regained my vision and quickly sat up. Allan was doubled over in front of me, his hand on his crotch. Well, I guess you have good aim.
なんてことをしてくれるんだ。男の大切なところを。
It's not like it was my intent. I couldn't see anything, so I just kicked out as hard as I could. And you only have yourself to blame, you know.
俺は悪魔なんだ。人を誘惑するのが仕事だからな。
But why did you have to use Gil's voice of all people?
キューピッドのモノマネさ。
With a grin, Allan licked his lips. It sounded like he was trying to use some perverted version of matchmaking in order to devour another delicious dream. I won't let that slide. Cupid doesn't play awful tricks like that.
そうこんなもんだと思うけどね
No, that's not. Interrupting me, Allan put a hand on my chin and raised up my head. I was frozen in place, like a frog being hypnotized by a snake's cold stare.
ところで悪魔の恐ろしさ分かったかい
It's trying to scare her, but it's just going to intrigue her more. Demons are supposed to be scary.
声真似なんてお手の物俺よりも上位の悪魔になれば姿形さえも偽れる悪魔はさこうやっていろんな人間を騙し人の夢や勢力を食らって生きてるんだもっとひどいことをするやつもいる俺みたいな善良なインキュバス珍しい方だよ
You? Nice? How the heck are you nice?
悪いやつに捕まったら夢を食われるだけじゃ済まないからね忠告するだけ天使みたいなものさだから君も俺以外のインキュバスや悪魔に出会ったらすぐに逃げるんだ夢が気持ちいいからって感謝するなんてもってのほかだいいね
I blinked in confusion at how serious he'd become all of a sudden. The nasty bewitching light that had consumed his eyes earlier was gone. He looked at me with genuine concern. The hand that had been gripping my chin tightly was now caressing my cheek. Huh? The way he was touching my cheek, it felt like a sensation I'd experienced before. Of course, Allan had touched me in a teasing way a few times, but this wasn't like that. It was a gesture of concern that I had a vague memory of. But when could something like that have happened? Felt like a long, long time ago. Who could have shown me such a gesture? He's asked if he's met her before. So there you go.
話聞いてる
Huh? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I heard you. Just watch out for really bad incubi, right?
そうだよ下手すりゃ魂を取られるからね絶対に近寄っちゃダメだ
Wait, my soul?
悪魔ってそういう存在なんだよ OK?
I see. I had no idea. I made a mental note to maybe go to the library and do some more research. Are there really that many incubi? When it comes to gods, there isn't more than one of each type, you know. I'm the only Cupid, and there's no other Venus or Mars or anything like that.
そりゃあね吐いて捨てるほどいるさと言っても神ほどの強い力を持ったやつはそうそういないけどねとにかく悪魔には近づくな無警戒な姿を見せるのもダメだわかった
Right, I understand. For someone who just done something so awful himself, he seemed pretty serious about this whole thing. I just nodded. Seemingly satisfied, Allan gave me a gentle smile.
じゃあ朝ごはんにしよう君が寝てる間に下ごしらえをしておいたんだ
He's like, well, let's eat. He got up and headed for the kitchen. When he was gone, I looked at my phone. It was only 5 in the morning, but I had gone to bed early last night, so I'd still slept for quite a while. Huh? I opened up my usual apps and saw one comment that said I had such an incredible dream. How can I ever go back to my real boyfriend when he was so much better in my dream? It must be the same woman who had her dream eaten by Allan. I quickly punched in dream as a keyword and a bunch of similar posts popped up. The dream was better than any real man. I've never felt anything like it. I think my boyfriend isn't enough anymore. All the posts were like this incubus and his dreams were obviously causing problems in the real world. This is bad. If people start having dreams like that, reality will definitely stop mattering to them. I was sure about that because I'd experienced it firsthand. As Cupid, I had to be aware of the dangerous powers of the incubus.
お待たせ
Allan came back from the kitchen with breakfast. but there was only enough food for one person. Huh? Is this all for me?
そうだよ。俺は食事をしないからさ。
That's so sweet. He made you food. Huh.
インキュバスの食事は夢を食うことって言っただろ。俺は食事をしないんだ。時々怪しまれないように仕方なく食べて、それらしい感想を言うことはあるけど、黒タピオカ以外味を感じたことないかな。
He likes bubble tea. What? I suddenly remember what happened on our mock date. I recall that part of our dinner was bubble tea, which has tapioca in it. At the time, I wondered why anyone would want just bubble tea for dinner. I see. As an incubist, Allan doesn't need to eat the same things as humans. When I was in Celestia, I never had to eat anything either, so gods and demons both can go without the human idea of eating. Once I came down here, my body became completely human. But does tapioca even have that much of a flavor? It seems strange that of all the human food, the only thing he could taste was tapioca. During college, Gil cooked all kinds of food for me, so I feel like my taste buds are pretty in line with normal human ones. I think some places add sugar to the drink, but the main point is to enjoy the chewy texture.
いやいや、分かってないね。甘いだとか辛いだとかは感じたことがないから、人間たちを観察しての想像でしかないけど、黒タピオカをあえて表現するとしたら、間違いなく酸味だね。
Huh.
女たちがバブルティーのストローを加えながら頬をすぼめているだろう。あれはレモンみたいな酸味の強いものを食べている時と同じ顔だ。つまりあの反応から察するに、黒タピオカは酸味のある食べ物ってことだろう。
That's so funny. Isn't that just the face you make when you suck on a straw? Or something like those bubble tea face exercise memes that you see on Instagram sometimes?
あの酸味が夢を食った時と同じような旨味でさ。だから黒タピオカは人間の食べ物の中で唯一美味しく感じるんだ。と言ってもレモンには味を感じたことないのが不思議だけど。
For some reason, Allan was convinced that tapioca was sour. His taste buds really are totally different from a human's. After all, tapioca isn't sour, and you can't learn something's taste just based on someone else's reaction. But in that case, the taste of a dream must not be sour either. Is it more sweet?
ま、そんなわけで俺は食事を取らないんだ。だから遠慮はいらないよ。俺は君の夢を食った後で満たされてるしね。どうぞ召し上がる。
Thank you. At his urging, I looked down at the meal in front of me. After everything he just said, I had to work up the courage to start eating. I couldn't help but wonder what kind of food someone who thinks tapioca is sour would make. With a little hesitation, I took a bite of the rice. Huh? This is delicious. Despite his inability to actually taste anything, he was actually a really good cook. You'd think those wouldn't go together, but didn't he yell at Allan, or didn't he yell at Gil for the way he cooks? So he has some cooking experience. Still, the meal was nothing but vegetables, and not that much of them either. I could tell it wouldn't be enough. So Allan, do you ever only eat in order to avoid suspicion?
そう。インキュバスの生命維持のために人間の食事なんて役に立たないからね。さっきも言ったけど、人間のふりをする以上、必要な場面では仕方なく食べてみせるけど、意味のない行為なんだ。栄養にもならないし、味もよくわからないし、なんなら太る要因になるだけだ。だから極力食べないようにしてる。
So you're really not human in any way at all.
言っただろ。インキュバスだって。パラサイトハウスの間は本当の食事を抑えていたからさ。 終わったあたりで飢餓感に襲われてね。それで積極的に食っていたら CC を退会させられた。ま、それならよそで見つければいいんだけどさ。
Well, that makes sense. Oh, that's right. You caused a whole bunch of member relationships to fall apart.
それは残念だったね。でもその程度の愛だったんだよ。
No, that's not it at all. It's just that your dreams are so intense.
そうなの？
Yes, that's right. Recalling the dream I had last night, I could feel myself getting nervous all over again. That's how amazing his dreams were. A dream that feels so good you never want it to end. A dream more satisfying than reality, specifically because it's not real. Yeah, I could totally understand how someone might neglect their real life love in favor of that kind of dream world. I decided that it was my duty to minimize the damage he caused from here on out. Okay, there's no save for this, I don't think, so... Okay, that's funny. You can feed on me so you don't cause people to break up. Okay, we're gonna talk to him first and make him understand. From this day forward, I demand that you stop eating the dreams of women in love, and I'm not leaving until you agree.
君が言いたいこともわかるけど、俺にとって夢は食事なんだ。納得するとかしないとかそういう次元の話じゃない。
He's like, you're telling me to
何度も言ってる
die.
でしょ？
You understand.
まあ、気が済むまでここにいてくれてもいいけど、困るのは君の方じゃない？生命維持がかかってる以上、俺は折れないからね。
I guess that's true. In that case, how about a compromise? From now on, how about you only eat my dreams? Okay, we're gonna go back up to the top. Serve him a meal. So listen up, Allan. From now on, you can only eat my dreams.
は？どういうこと？
After a moment, a bewitching smile formed on his lips as if he suddenly realized something.
ああ、そっか。昨夜の夢が良すぎて、君も現実が見たくなくなっちゃったんだね。
No, it's not quite as selfish as that.
それなら素直にそうだと言えばいいのに。アワーハニーは照れ屋なのかな？
No, if you keep eating the dreams of the women in love, people will stop falling in love altogether, and I can't do my job as Cupid. I'm the god of love, and I can't let gods or demons or anyone go around destroying those connections. I can't expect you to stop eating entirely, so instead I want you to only eat my dreams. That way I can protect everyone's love. He gave me a serious look and shook his head.
それはできないな。
Why not? Why not? Despite the desperation in my voice, he laughed and gave me a sly look.
恋をしている女の子の夢の方が美味しいんだ。
Oh, whatever. You said that's the most sweetest dream you've ever had. So, that's a lie.
だから、そうだな。君が誰かに恋をしてくれたらいいよ。そうすればシェアできるからね。
What? There's that thieving parasite attitude again. Before I found out he was an incubus, I thought maybe he'd gone through some kind of trauma.
おい、アラン・メルビル、出てこい。
Uh-oh. I heard banging on the door from outside. Probably someone's upset boyfriend.
いるのは分かってるんだ。いいから早く出てこい。
Oh my goodness.
またか。
He's used to that. Again, don't tell me. I had flashbacks of a call I'd gotten from a man claiming his woman had been stolen from him. Did you seriously steal another girl?
人聞き悪いな。食事をしただけだよ。
He's like, nope, I just ate her dream. No, you did. You stole away another woman in love.
でも俺の生態だ。 文句を言われる筋合いはないね。
Allan just shrugged his shoulders and looked downstairs.
にしても、こんな早朝にわめいたら近所迷惑じゃないか。行ってくるから、君は朝ごはん食べてて。
I know, 5 o'clock in the morning. So what does he tell the boyfriends? All he did was sell her a pillow. Waving a relaxed hand at me, Allan headed downstairs to the store. I quickly finished off the last of my breakfast and followed him down.
Ora, 俺は逃げも隠れもしないから、叫ぶのはやめなよ。
一発殴らせろ。
Oh man. Allan was immediately greeted with a powerful blow. The man struck him with so much force, Allan went flying into the store counter.
よくも俺のワイフに手を出したな、アラン・メルビル。
The man's face was bright red, but Allan's expression was unchanged.
ああ、あんたは隣のアパートの人か。でも誤解だよ。俺はあんたの嫁に指一本触れてない。不貞なんてしてないよ。
そんなバカな話があるか。お前の家に連れ込まれてからうちのワイフは俺を拒絶して。
Just sold her a pillow.
俺は家になんて連れ込んでないよ。この店で枕のフィッティングをしただけさ。拒絶されるのは多分あんたのせいだね。あんたがテクニシャンじゃないからさ。夢の方がいいって思ってるからだよ。
バカなことを言うな。
Another blow and Allan fell backwards again. Allan wasn't making any attempt to stop the man from hitting him. He just wiped the blood from his split lip and looked at him in silence. His eyes were calm and empty. No matter how many times the man hit him, Allan would clearly never apologize for what he'd done. The man seemed to sense this and took a nervous step back.
とにかく覚えていろよ。
The man fled from the store just as quickly as he'd arrived. He slammed the door angrily behind him and I flinched back nervously. That was so scary. Are you okay? Allan looked just the same as ever, calm and collected with a placid smile on his face.
いつものことだからね。心配してくれてありがとう。Our honey.
It happens all the time. My first impulse was to yell at him, but the fact is I was worried about his cut lip and swelling face. I'm sure he could have avoided those punches if he really wanted to. Allan was way taller and probably a lot stronger than the guy who came after him. And yet he just stood there and let it happen. Probably because he knew it would make the guy feel better. I guess that's how you have to get by when you're a demon. Still, I was sure he was in pain. Let me see where he hit you. Where's your first aid kit?
あ？そこの棚だけど。
Good, now sit down, let me patch you up. I grabbed the first aid kit and started to take care of him. Jeez, this cut is really deep. Are you sure you're okay?
ああ、うん。まあ。
He doesn't know what to say. He looked confused and a little troubled. I was sure he wasn't expecting to get this kind of special attention.
君は怒ってるんだと思ってたけど。
I am, but that has nothing to do with this. I just can't ignore someone who's in pain. As I continued to work on him without hesitation, Allan frowned at me.
ちょっと乱暴じゃない？
You deserve the beating you got, so just deal with it. Now hold still.
殴られるようなことね。俺はただいい夢を見させてるだけなのにな。
These dreams of yours are better than reality, you know. Can't you ease off a little bit?
君は美味しい料理の作り方を知っているのに、手加減してわざとまずく作ったりする？
I know, right? I would if my food was bad for the rest of the world. His total lack of remorse made me mad all over again. I applied the cut ointment without mercy, then checked his back and hips for bruises where he hit the counter. I'm sure you don't want more guys coming in here with scores to settle, do you?
まあ、恨まれないに越したことはないけど。でも仕方ないと割り切ってはいるよ。悪魔の奴らには、俺よりずっとひどいことをしてるのもいる。まだこれでも善良な方だよ。
A good one, huh? After all the women you've stolen. I just don't understand it.
そりゃ、君は理解しなくていい世界で生きてるからね。
His tone had suddenly turned cold and he stood up before I was finished. Hey, wait, I'm not finished.
十分だよ。普段は手当てすらしないから。
Huh?
言ったでしょ。俺は悪魔なんだ。怪我だって人よりずっと治りがいい。だから手当てなんてしなくていい。こんな俺なんかにさ。
With a bitter tone and a look of self-loathing, Allan walked away. He doesn't need it. Allan in Incubus, he always has some justification for what he does. But could it be that he really doesn't want to do it? He was putting back the chairs and other items he scattered when he got knocked around. He was facing away from me, so I had no idea what look might be on his face. But even so, I had a distinct sense of loneliness. I kind of regretted placing so much blame on him. However... You're leaving?
はい、ごめんなさい。なんだか急に婚活とかどうでもよくなっちゃって。
If you don't mind, may I ask why?
やっぱ婚活よりも枕かなって思って。
She's gonna go for a pillow. Pillow. Could it be?
知ってます？9番街のラグジュアリーピローで買った枕で寝ると最高の夢が見られるんです。
I knew it.
夢っていいですよね。裏切らないし、最高の状態を見せてくれるし。
But if he's not there to feed on her dreams, how does she keep having the dream? Or does he go around to every woman he's ever sold a pillow to and visit them? That seems exhausting.
それに比べて現実はお見合いパーティー10連敗ですし。
I'm sorry, I guess I wasn't much help then.
いや、いいです。アドバイザーさんは頑張ってくれてましたから。所詮現実なんてこんなもんなんですよ。そう、こんな世の中よりも夢ですよ、夢。なので私はこれから夢に行きます。ということで今日付けで大会処分よろしくお願いします。
It happened not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. Sitting there by myself, I dropped my head in my hands. And one day we lost 3 members, all women. The reason was that dreams are better, and they had bought pillows from the Pillow Luxury, of course. What am I going to do? They'd all bought pillows from the same place, so there could only be one reason behind all of this. A demon that feeds on the dreams of his female victims, an incubus. There is no doubt that it was Allan. What is an incubus really? Do they really have no choice but to feast on dreams to survive? I was curious, so I did a quick search on my phone. Everything I found pretty much said the same thing. An incubus is a specific type of creature, a demon that feeds on dreams. If that's the best the internet has to offer, I'll just have to do more research of my own. Luckily, I had the following day off. I decided to head to the university library and look for more specialized literature. Oh, that's right. Lost York University also has a professor on mythology. Maybe I'll get in touch and set up an appointment. When I was in school, I took a mythology class. My old resume should have had his contact info on it. I decided to send him an email as soon as I got home. With that settled, I focused on finishing the rest of my tasks for the day with hopes of helping my remaining members get married. Well, his hair is not blonde, so it can't be him, I guess. It's still someone he doesn't like, though. That evening, I was searching for my next meal. I was looking down on humanity from atop a tall building, scouring the city for a woman in love to deliver a dream to.
恋をしている顔。あの女とかいいかもしれないな。
I spotted a woman sitting alone outside the cafe, drinking her cup of coffee. I'm sure she must be in love. Her dream would probably be sour and a little spicy, with a rich aftertaste.
早くあの子にもあの顔つきになってもらいたいんだけど。
He really wants to feed on Cupid. Lynette, she just completely refused to fall in love. I wanted her to fall in love as soon as possible, but no matter what I did, there was no sign of that happening. As soon as I thought of her, I suddenly lost my appetite and started to sigh.
食事よりも先にあの問題をなんとかしないとな。
Lost his appetite, because she's much better. I decided I'd let the other Parasite 5 take up falling in love with her and seducing her. Okay.
けどあいつら奥手だし、恋に興味ないやつもいるし、全然動かないんだよな。
Yeah, we've all seen how terrible they are at it. While we were on Parasite House, I was constantly working behind the scenes to get them to fall in love with her. For example, I worked together with that workshop instructor behind the scenes to have her go on those mock dates. I had planted the idea that for an ad agency guy to take pictures that would make her look like she was Shelby's wife. I even stuck into Lost York TV studio to try and get the Parasite House project off of the ground. And of course, I did everything I could to make sure no female members would move into the house. Of course he did. I lived in the house, went on the dates that I had to, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it. Nobody made any moves, nothing happened to make her care about any of the other guys at all.
普通男と一つ屋根の下で暮らせば誰かしらといい雰囲気になるはずだろう。
But my plan was a total failure. She was a much tougher nut to crack than I expected. I wanted her to hurry up and fall in love so she could get rid of that damn bow of hers. Oh, okay, so that's how he's planning on getting rid of the bow.
この間ギルのふりをしても全くの脈なしだったから。
Goodness.
次はシェルビーを焚きつけてみるか。
But when you imagine your boss doing that kind of okay, not boss, but the president of your company, kind of sort of your boss doing that, and you don't have romantic feelings, and that kind of gross. I could sneak into his office and make it so that he'll have to take notice of her. And once the seed was planted, I could ask one of my succubus friends to make him dream about her. Incubi and succubi, demons that can take on the forms of whoever the dreamer truly desires. As demons can make matches by pretending to be the object of the desire in a dream and make them fall in love.
本当は俺ができればいいんだけどな。
But an incubus simply isn't able to enter a man's dream. It was frustrating, but I had to rely on my fellow succubi.
とにかくシェルビーに恋をさせよう。食事はそれからだ。
Whatever, even in his shoot, it took them a long time to get together from that point. Oh, I saw wings. He still doesn't have blonde hair though. First, I would just arrange his schedule so that he'd have to meet with Lynette. If I can make them think I've been seeing a lot of them lately, that could definitely lead to victory. I snuck into Mr. President's office, but there was absolutely no room in his schedule. He was a workaholic and slept only 4 hours every day. I had to give up on that plan. Well, that was short-lived. That's funny. The next day, I hope this isn't going to be too long. After setting up an appointment, I had come to see Professor Giordano, who was teaching a mythology class. So actually, I was hoping to talk to you about incubi.
インキュバスについてか。サキュバスはいいのかね。
No, just the male version. Succubi.
女の夢を食べるのがインキュバス。男の夢を食べるのがサキュバスだ。どちらも陰魔と呼ばれる悪魔だな。
Oh, really? So an incubus can only eat a woman's dream?
ああ、そのはずだ。
That must be why all those female members quit. Well, for now, could you tell me more about incubi?
と言っても、インキュバスもサキュバスも性別ぐらいしか差はないがな。どちらも人間の夢の中に現れて快楽を与えて夢を食べる悪魔だ。そしてどちらも理想の異性の姿をとる。
Idealized.
ああ、その方がより多くの快楽を夢の中で与えられるからだろうな。だから姿形の記述は残っていない。人によって見え方が違うからだ。
If an incubus were to eat your dreams, would it affect reality in any way?
それは伝承によるな。ただ夢を食われるだけという場合もあるし、実害が伴う場合もある。
Real harm?
基本的にインキュバスは人間を堕落の道へ引き込む悪魔だ。人が会員を好むように仕向けていると考えることもできる。実際の肉体に変化を及ぼす陰魔もいるといくつかの文献には残っているな。寝ている間に子をはらませられたとかな。
Oh my goodness. What?
だがこれもまた不義密通をごまかすために作られたエピソードだろう。根拠は乏しい。そもそもインキュバスの伝承ができたのも禁欲主義の盛んだった時代に無性の理由付けに考えられたものだという説もある。実際に悪魔はいるのかいないのか、そこも含めて議論することが望ましいだろうな。
Well, she knows for a fact they do. As I left Professor Giordano, I was alone in the courtyard, thinking about what I had just heard. An incubus appears in the form of the ideal person. So who did you dream about? Tell us. That's my ideal? It didn't hit me at all. Seeing him didn't make me feel nervous or dreamy. What I did was definitely amazing, but he's not really my type. The professor said I should consider the reason for the lore's origins against the original historical background. So after I parted with the professor, I went to the library to borrow some books. I'm going to read every book I can find on demons, however... I took a quick look at the book I just checked out, but nothing was satisfying. Azazel, Moloch, and Mephistopheles. All of the demons were depicted in their forms with a frightening appearance. Mephistopheles, isn't that guy... I just read about him in Code Realize. Well, I say just, but was he a demon? I've never seen anything like it. It looks a little bit like the manticore that we have in Celestia. Incubus is a demon, but Allan is very different from the demons depicted here. I flipped through the pages and read the stories of what demons had done. He just hasn't taken demon form. The story of a man who made a pact with a demon to resurrect the dead, and the story of a man who tried to become a billionaire. All of these chapters are quite disturbing. One spoke of a demon that awaited you at the gates of Elysium, then stole your soul. So this is a demon, different from a god, an evil being.
悪魔はさ、こうやっていろんな人間を騙し、人の夢や勢力を食らって生きてるんだ。もっとひどいことをするやつもいる。 俺みたいな善良なインキュバス。珍しい方だよ。
You nice? How the heck are you nice?
悪いやつに捕まったら夢を食われるだけじゃ済まないからね。忠告するだけ天使みたいなものさ。
A good incubus. But from a Cuba's point of view, any incubus that gets in the way of love is bad.
悪魔？面白い本読んでるね。
I looked up and Raul was there. Huh? Why are you here?
今日は神話討論会で来てたんだ。ちょうど悪魔と神の類似点について討論してたから、興味があるんなら君も誘えばよかったな。
He's at his mythology meeting. Mythology debate and demon talks. Demons are supposed to be different from gods, so why do we talk about them in mythology debates? Are demons like gods? As I tilted my head, Raul snatched the book I was holding and started reading.
俺はそう思ってるよ。例えばインキュバスとよく似た神もいるしね。バクって言うんだけど、夢を食べて病魔や悪運を払う神様なんだよ。他にも神と悪魔で似通った記述は結構多いんだ。地獄の王サタン、ルシファーなんて元天使だし、だから悪魔もまた神と言っていいんじゃないかな。まあ俺が思うサタンは絶対に元天使じゃないけどね。思い出しただけでおぞましい。
Raul turned the book to me and walks away. Bye. What Raul thinks of as Satan is probably a raw oyster. He was shivering and shaking from his memories of raw oysters. I looked down at the open page on the book. Incubus, a demon that eats dreams. But according to Raul, there is also a god who eats dreams. And he also said that Satan was formerly an angel, right? And he said Lucifer was. I check out the section on Satan and Lucifer. It was written that an angel who thought he was worthy of being God rebelled and incurred God's wrath and was cast into hell. And Allan is looking for a way to get back to Celestia. So is he really a god? Is he playing good? I didn't know there were angels like that. Angels are the ones in heaven, right? Below Celestia, where the gods dwell, lies heaven, home of the angels. I've never been there since only the 12 Olympians can go to heaven. But there are demons who were angels, and some demons have the same powers as gods. Perhaps the gods that do good things are called gods, and gods that commit evil are called demons. Heck, that could be called demon. Mars, god of war. Dad's stories aren't necessarily always good for humans. Demons. As I flipped through the pages, my eye caught a demon called Fulfur. A matchmaking demon? The book said that it was a demon that caused love between men and women. They basically lie, but if you summon them into a magic circle, they will tell you the truth. So some demons do good things. I'm getting more and more confused. I took another look at the pile of books I had borrowed. There was one book mixed in that had nothing to do with demons. Huh? Is this a mythology book? I must have borrowed it by mistake. The book was called Greek Myths Love Episodes. I was so curious I had to read it. It was about Dad and Mom's love story, Jupiter's love story, and Cupid's love. Oh really? Cupid's love, huh? I want to hear more about Jupiter's. It was that Cupid accidentally wounded his own finger with an arrow and fell in love with a psyche, a human being. Of course I don't remember such an episode. So weird, Cupid would never hurt her own finger with an arrow. I would never screw up like that, and I don't even know who Psyche is. It must be a story that humans made up on their own, otherwise there's no explanation. No, we read Raul's Root, so we know the explanation. I closed the book and left for the university. A few days later, I caught a glimpse of the daily lives of the Parasite 5 and sighed deeply.
何なんだあいつらは。
He's gonna try so hard to get her in love or get a man after her, and he's gonna, like, I don't know, exhaust himself, just go for her himself. The likelihood of any of them falling in love with Lynette was significantly low, except for Gil. Rao Akanai, for one reason or another, found himself unsuitable for serious love. Ryuki F. Kaisen was no longer aware of her existence, perhaps because his work was no longer relevant with her.
そしてシェルビーは婚活を断念。仕事に生きると言っていたな。
I remember being horrified at the sight of Shelby working like a madman. I guess you'll just have to fall in love yourself and then eat her.
オーウェンは別の女の子に恋してたみたいだし。
Gil was the only hope. The best thing to do is to somehow try to get him closer to her.
でもギルはギルで彼女にふさわしい男になるまでは会わないなんて言ってたしな。
It's true that if Gil were to confess his feelings to her now, he would be shattered. The problem was on her end.
せめて夢の中の俺がギルの姿になれればな。
That way I could seduce her to my heart's content. Who she saw in her dreams was not Gil, Shelby, Ryugi, or Rao. Who is it? I believe she said she saw a blonde guy.
他に彼女と親しい男はいないのか。
Why is he pretending like he doesn't know? Like the expression that he gave told us that he knew, and he had wings. So an angel of some sort. Thinking of the people around her, I shake my head. Her co-workers, her neighbors, she didn't seem to be aware of them at all. So far, the only guys she had talked to at length were the 4 guys from Parasite 5. As Cupid, she can't abandon the Parasite 5 that must be concerned about them. But it's not love, it's just work.
あの子、仕事人間だもんな。
Though no office romance occurred, her male colleagues even looked at her with a kind of an awe. By human standards, she could be considered a tryhard who is obsessed with promotion. So she is not a love interest at all, making Gil the only choice. Next time I see her, I'll try to talk to her and steer her attention towards Gil.
頼むよギル、君にかかっているんだ。
If I fail now, there's nothing else that could be done. That's how few options she has in terms of love interests. It's like he's playing through an atomic game himself. Then a few days later... Oh my goodness, how long is this? Staff members from the advisors section were drinking coffee together.
最近現実がどうでもいいからなんて理由で会員様辞めすぎじゃない？
Your members too.
こういうの今までもあったわ。理由はドラマの登場人物の方がずっと素敵だからなんてものだったけど。
俳優マニアってやつね。でも今回のは妙よ。みんな夢がいいって言うんだもの。
現実よりもいい夢ねえ。私だって見てみたいわ。そんないい夢ならね。
夢ね。なんかの隠語なのかしら。クラブとかドラッグとか
Isn't it just simply dreams you have when you sleep?
まさか本物の夢の方が現実よりいいなんて人間普通はいないわよ。魔法じゃないんだし。
だから気になるのよね。一体何なのかしら。現実よりもいい夢って。
That's why more and more female members are quitting. Chi, what should we do?
Chi?
It's like, I don't know. Chi, do you know of demons called incubi?
Chi?
Chi tilted his head and looked up. That moment, the door opened.
じゃあ私出かけてくるから。おやすみ。
Oh, bye. Another night out? Without replying, Clarice puts her fingers to her lips and winks. Then she left the room, waving her hands in the air. A few moments later, I heard the door close. she's gone. Paris is like this almost every day. She seems to be going out with a lot of different men. And she was with Allan too, so I wonder if she's a succubus. That would make sense, right? Paris does not fall in love, and our members say they prefer dreams. Cupid needs to work hard. Cupid, the god of love. I have a weapon that even the gods fear. With this, I'm not afraid of demons. I'm a god and I have to fight an incubus, a demon. I must, in order to prevent this bizarre phenomenon from ruining Cupid Corp's reputation. Humans don't believe in either gods or demons. But it's the duty of the gods to protect humans. Human hands make human bonds. As long as it doesn't have anything to do with that goal, I can use my arrows, right? I'm worried that the jamming method that my aunt used might wear off, but I can sneak back to Celestia to have it fixed again. I took my fingers off the necklace and instead grabbed Chi.
Chi?
Poor Chi. Then, as usual, I used Chi as a massager. That poor animal. I wonder if she's going to use her bow and attract Jupiter's attention. That would be fun. Cupid in love. Well, there we go. That is where we're ending this episode. Right at an hour and a half, so a little bit shorter after I edited, but yeah. And it's already 2 o'clock, so I'm going to start editing it, but if I start like nodding off, I don't want to make mistakes in my editing, so let's see, because I won't even get this edited until probably 4. And then I have to get up at 6 to take my daughter to school, so yeah, it's just best if I edit it tomorrow, and then I can get into a routine of recording after everyone goes to bed, editing it the next day. I'm very curious on, I mean, obviously this route is going to be a lot different than any other route because we're going in this with a god and an incubus, and he's trying to get her to fall in love and she's trying to stop him. So as always, if you guys enjoyed, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.